and talking to him about work. He's like, yeah, I'm working for some guys. I just want some more hours. I want to do something different. I just got my life right with the Lord, and I really just want to do right now. And my dad was like, well, you need to call my son, Jason, if you want to work hard. And so he called me the next day. And ever since then, I just fell in love with this kid. I mean, he was like a son to me. So he was real special. But I wrote some stuff down. I don't want to forget nothing. But one of the reasons I knew Mason was special because he wanted to do tree work. Not just anybody wants to do some tree work. You got to be super special to want to cut trees because it is not easy. On these hot days like this, it's like that's the days Mason thrived. One of his favorite sayings is, when I would talk, hey guys, tomorrow's a tough one, then next week's a tough one. Bring it on, just bring it on. That was his saying, and he meant it too. So, let's see here. Mason wasn't never on time for work. He was always early. I remember pulling through that gate, and he was always there 15, 20 minutes early. He was either in his truck reading his Bible, eating his breakfast, sending the guys or somebody a verse, or he was over at that chainsaw stand sharpening saws, getting ready for the day. Let's see. He was dependable. He brought a lot of passion and vision and a lot of energy to the workplace. When the week after I got back, I was in Florida that week too. When I got back, it was one of the hardest rides home I ever taken. But got back to work. That we took Monday off, and I had to get back to it on Tuesday. But I didn't want to work no more because a lot of the reasons I did what I did, he was like the motor to Duren Tree. Duren Tree grew in 3 years like it had never grown before because he was there. He just brought passion and energy and vision. He was special in that way. But my boys took right up to Mason almost like he was an older brother. He taught them on the jobs what I wouldn't take the time to teach them, and I know he taught all the other guys too. I'm the kind that if you want to learn from me, that you got to watch me. Mason, I'm like, where's Mason at? And he's over there, got my son about to drop a tree like this, this close to a house. I'm like, Mason, and he gives me that look. He's like, they got to learn sometime, and I'm like, all right, let him do it. And he's over there walking him step by step, cutting the tree. But he took the time. My crew today is what it is because he took the time with each one of them to get them to where they're at, and I'm thankful for that. He brought unity to the workplace, and if we ever split up in two crews, I was in trouble because I wasn't going to be on the same crew as Mason, and everybody else wanted to be on Mason's crew. So I got stuck with Rich, and maybe I could pull one more guy if I was lucky. But everybody wanted to be with him because he made the job fun. He made the workplace fun. Mason was a strong young man. Now, I know a lot of y'all know that. And if I told him, hey, man, I already said that, bring it on. Bring it on, he said. If we had a tough day, he was my right-hand man. We bounced ideas off each other about business. He helped me see new ways to do a lot of things. And a lot of times his way was better. But when I thought my way was better, I think he had a few choice words under his breath. But he would, even though I knew he didn't like it, he would keep marching forward. He wouldn't say nothing to me, but he just, we just kept it marching. But let's see, not only was Mason a good employee, but he was a friend and he was a part of our family. He would come to my son's baseball games. If any of my kids had a birthday party and I invited him, I don't think there was anything I invited Mason to. He didn't show up. He always showed up. He cooked burgers for Misty on her birthday last year. Come to the lake house, and he spent a lot of time with us and the kids. And I know my kids looked at him like a big brother. We considered him family for sure. And I know everyone here could say some things about Mason, who Mason was to them. I know he was a very loved son to his parents. He was loved by his sister and many family members. I know Mason loved his parents and family very much. I remember the many days that his mom would bring him and the guys' lunch at the job site, and I seen Mason's face get brighter. And I don't think he had any enemies. I know y'all probably know that. He didn't have no enemies, not that I knew of, and he never met a stranger. I know he was loved dearly by his girlfriend, Lauren. and I know that he was in love with her. He talked about her all the time. I know he was loved by all of his friends, and we will all miss him many days to come. There will always be a Mason-shaped hole in our hearts that only God can fill. And I wrote this. This is a verse in Isaiah. I know God's ways are higher than ours. And we didn't see this coming. But God knows the end from the beginning, and his plans are not our plans. This wasn't the end for Mason, but the beginning. Mason, when he gave his life to the Lord that day, it was settled. His name was written down in the Lamb's Book of Life. Mason reached his heavenly home where there are no more tears, no more troubles, no more sorrow, only fullness of joy. And we'll all meet him that day when we meet Jesus face to face. The only question is, will you accept him on this side of eternity as Mason did? And I know Mason, we had many talks. I've heard several stories about others that had a lot of talks with Mason about the Lord. And me and him had some deep spiritual conversations. And one thing I can say about Mason is he had a hunger in his walk to know the Lord better every day. And I know he had some struggles. We all do. I mean, everybody here can raise their hand if I said, hey, do you got struggles? Yeah, we do. But Mason had a heart after God, as King David did in the Bible. And he loved the Lord. He wasn't ashamed to talk about him. He wasn't ashamed to have his Bible up on his dash, and share his experience with me of knowing the Lord. And he made an impact in my life, just like I did in his. And he's going to be missed. I was talking to somebody earlier. I've lost brother-in-laws, grandparents, really good friends, but I've never really experienced loss in my life until this, and experienced true grief. And I'm going to miss Mason. I'll never forget him. He's really special to me. So with that,